is just live, so people might actually still already be out there in the beautiful land. So what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm going to tag you so it appears on your page because I want some of your friends to come on by the
Oh, hey.
farm.
I'm excited. I want all of them to watch this.
I can't believe. So the fun thing about everyone, you guys know Mariette, so we are live. But the
We are
fun thing,
live. Ow!
we are live. The fun thing is I used to go over to your page just to see the type of drama that was being cooked up by LA. So you have a lot of very special people that follow you. On your you have a lot of fans on your La Culture page, but on your personal Facebook page, you got a lot of zombies out there.
Yes, I do. I live in Los Angeles. I'm an artist. I'm a singer and actress. And so a lot of people in this field and in this town only follow popular news, mainstream news. So it's very, very difficult for me to talk about anything important when it's like, in person. So, and then they try to control my speech online on top of that. So that's what today's topic is going to be about. It's going to be about people who say, shut up about politics, which
Ooh,
is, yeah.
Talk about that. Yeah.
And we're going to break down the psychology behind these kind of people and where they're coming from, which is mostly the ego. And I'd like to hear personal stories from you guys as well, because I got a lot of stories to tell. Now, let me just say that Gerard is hilarious. The first time I saw you, Will shared your video, the one where you were a Russian troll on Bernie's shoulder. I mean, that was hilarious. I thought you were a comedian.
Yeah, everybody's a comedian. Damn it, everybody's a comedian. No, that was a lot of fun.
I was crying of laughter. I've watched it many times. It was just brilliant. If you're new to Gerard's page and channel, like, you gotta watch the video where he's a Russian troll on Bernie's shoulder. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah, so and I appreciate the shout out. I have to. That's probably way down at the bottom. I got a lot of friends out of that. I lost most of them because I think they thought I was a Bernie guy. And now I'm a nobody guy. I'm a Gerard guy. But yeah. But also your page, La Culture, people don't follow you. We'll have to put that in the link section. You are hilarious. You are insanely hilarious. How the hell they even let you stay in Hollywood? That's what I want.
I'm actually kicked out of red carpets. I'm not allowed to go on there. In fact, the person that I was working for deleted a lot of my La Culture videos, which had millions of views, and you had celebrities like Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Kardashians posting about it or talking about it, and they're gone because of politics, because I was not a Hillary person. I was very polite about it. I just woke up to being trolled every morning, the Bernie and Hillary people like fighting each other. And I was a Bernie delegate, so that triggered a lot of my showbiz friends. Okay. But when you're like saying that Trump, it's offensive that Trump is saying grab him by the pussy, and then you're going and you're telling female burners, go fuck yourself with a knife or rape yourself with a razor, which is what these people do, I'm going to have to block you. I don't accept that. And so when I block these people, they delete my videos or they no longer hire me in shows. Like I was working on some TV show and they used to love me, but once they saw my posts on social media, they just stopped hiring me because they were very pro mainstream narratives. And, I'm not a Trump person, and I'm not I'm not someone that sounds like those Hollywood celebrities. So you should probably listen to what I'm trying to say,
It's a good thing, but I love grab. I think, what did he say? Did he say grab him by the coochie or grab him by the pussy? Which one did he say?
Yeah, Trump said that. Grab him by the.
You know what? I love it when people are outraged like that. Like I told you, I love outraging adults. Outraging adults is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I don't like it in children. Children shouldn't be outraged. Bob Marley said children shouldn't be sad. They're all innocent. Adults are not innocent. None of them should be sad, and their outrage is hilarious. So Trump said grab him by the coochie in a country where was it Washington State just passed a law, women, just to let everybody now know that your breasts are now allowed in public, but not your nipples. Your breasts can come out, your nipples need tape. And it blew my mind when I read this. So we literally live in a nation where the breastfeeding moms got to go to the place where we drop urine and fecal matter to feed their baby. And when Washington State finally wants to address it, they tell women they got to put tape over their nipples, like women nipples and men nipples. That's not some kind of prejudice or nipple racism or something. It amazes me that any women are even voting in Washington State. This country is a hate crime waiting to happen 300 years ago. So I don't really care about Trump and grab them by to anything when you got a nation funneling weapons and you got warlords raping entire towns of women in the Congo. And no, but it's okay that I guess it's Trump. You're supposed to hate Trump, but you like Hillary. And the reason women don't have rights anywhere on this damn planet is because of the Pentagon.
And you know what? I actually I go to a lot of protests, anti-war protests, because I'm an actual real feminist.
Like war.
I support, I don't support these wars for profit. And, I'm standing up for women and children that are being bombed around the world. And so these people here in LA, not once go to these protests. They ignore my posts, but they go to the Pussy Hat Parade, which is televised. Real protests are not televised. And they went to the Pussy Hat Parade and F you, Trump. You can't grab this coochie. F you, Trump. I swear I saw people like that marching, and it was like a Trump parade. It was not based on a certain important issue.
Because hate is great. Hate is great. Do they really wear the hats though? Do they got the pink hats? Do they really wear them?
Yes, they exist here in LA. A lot of things exist here. You have vegan vampires. True story.
Yeah.
Vegan vampires exist here in Hollywood.
And they have rights now. You can't discriminate against them. I read about that.
I mean, yeah, you're a bigot if you do. But, you have atheists who get butthurt if you talk about satanic secret societies because they have this narrative in their head that Christians rule the world, which is not true. And I get people attack. I woke up to people inboxing me, attacking me because of that today. Teachers, lots of teachers here that tell you to shut up about politics. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, but I thought they were supposed to teach civics and they're supposed to be talking about politics. What happened?
Makes them insecure. It makes them very insecure. They're coming from the ego. And, I remember I was 19 years old when 9/11 occurred and I was in college around the Iraq War, and I just wasn't trusting the weapons of mass destruction narrative. Right. And I remember just talking to my professors in class about it, and they were so offended when I would ask questions. You have to follow the mainstream narrative, and it's not any different now. It's just now it's like the left that is actually into that. It was like Republicans then, now it's Democrats now. So I'm like, damn. But yeah, that's the thing. I was recently at a bar and there were these guys that were talking about human trafficking at the border. And so I got into the conversation and I had friends that were so offended, like calling us idiots, talking about politics at a bar, and
that's you can't talk about politics. Is there a law?
Not only you can't talk about politics, like they call you an idiot, but these people, like I've seen these friends, if they talked about the Armenian genocide at a bar, it's cherry picking. It's whatever makes them feel comfortable or whatever they feel they're informed to discuss. And,
Well, it's selective. It's abusive. I mean, to kind of break it down, like when people censor you, they're just looking to abuse you. Right, like that's the real deal. Like
they don't respect, like calling me an idiot because I'm talking about an important issue. You don't have respect for me as a friend. And then not only that, I never even insulted them, and they were like, "What do you do besides talk shit on Facebook?" First of all, or bitch on Facebook. First of all, what I do is not bitch; they're bitching. I raise awareness. I think the first step to all of this is to raise awareness because we're in a propaganda saturated world, You
see what Sinclair wrote? I agree with Sinclair. I agree with Sinclair. Even though Sinclair is a Rothschild, and that scares the hell out of me. They own the bank.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I do need new friends.
But hang on. But let me clarify. they're not your friends. So let's be real about it. Let's be real. We all want friends. We call acquaintances friends a lot. We call people.
It's hard. These people have been there for me in my life. You know, they have in hard times. And a lot of like the activists, they're kind of crazy too. There's a lot of really nutso people who are awake, but they're crazy too. So it's really hard. Like, you know, I just, but
I'm not gonna let him get away with that one. No, I'm not gonna let him get away. If somebody is your friend, they respect your perspective. They may not like it, but they respect it. If somebody is your friend, they don't delete you from Facebook because you posted something that's good in my company.
Exactly.
That's not a friend.
That's not a friend. There was someone whose wedding I went to, and it was like the hottest day ever, and I spent so much money. I went through hell going to his wedding. I didn't really want to go because it was very far away, and my date was like driving me crazy. But he deleted me on Facebook, all over social media, and this was like someone who's supposed to be my friend. And let me get you like.
But that's good.
I mean, let me tell you, like, I was kind of relieved because this guy started, like, he posts nudes of his wife, baby mama, on Instagram every day. Someone like that shouldn't, like, you know, dictate to me what's appropriate or not to post on social media. So I don't know. Yeah, you get rid of.
Is this an LA thing? Is this you know? All right, so I'll be honest with you. I live in Pennsylvania and I float with people from DC and New York, and they're nutty. They're crazy. There's some 98% monkeys that, I mean, they swing from the trees. They eat the bananas and do crazy stuff. But this is sounding kind of wild in LA. Is there like a whole perpetration, pretend to be your friend because of Hollywood connections or whatever? I think you have a lot of.
There's a lot of that. It's Hollywood town. It's very, like I said, it's very mainstream and whatever's popular news. And in person, it's very difficult for me because I'm always outnumbered. It's just me. And it's just, you know, I'm not a Bernie person. I used to be. I'm not a Hillary person. I'm not a Trump person. That's really hard for people to understand. There's very few free thinkers. You know, that's why it's hard to have so many friends. But yeah,
well, there are, but let's talk about this outnumbered thing. So I'll be honest with you. I disagree with everybody everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I'm always outnumbered. I don't really care. Like, I think it's an issue when you get into debates with people, right? Where you want them to believe what you believe. And I think that's a problem. If you just go into a conversation, you drop your funk, you drop your data, your facts. It doesn't really matter what other people believe. So they can be outnumbered. They can be yelling, screaming, and drinking and acting silly and stupid. But that's their problem, right? Like if they don't want to accept facts, then
they can't accept facts. Yeah, it's mostly like I have friends like, do not talk politics. Unsolicited. It's unsolicited information. Don't do it. People get emotional. I can't handle it. And
they told me that at Thanksgiving once. You know, I talked. So that was the first thing I talked about. I go see my family. They're crazy too. They swing from the trees too. They're 98% political monkeys and stuff. But I don't really care. Like the thing that is with me is if you tell me not to talk about something because it makes you uncomfortable, the absolute first thing that's required for me to do, because I love you to death, we're going to talk about that thing. Whatever that is, we're going to have a counseling session. We're going to sit down. Let's talk about it. Do you see Trump in your mirror? Do you see Trump when you get in your car? Where do you see this Trump? And what is this Trump doing? Did this Trump do anything Obama didn't do? Is this Trump actually, you know, and that people are, they are in their own little heads, in their own little narcissistic, psychopathic ways, but you got to help people. You have to get them to talk about it.
I'm trying, but they censor me. I mean, like, they're the gatekeepers. Okay, for instance, where I'm living right now, well, I'm not living here. I'm at my relative's place, but the highway is called Barack Hussein Obama Highway.
They got a highway out there?
Yeah, they got a highway.
He has a highway?
He's got a highway. He's got a highway, and you go down to Target, and he's on the cover of the magazines. 8 years of hope and change.
But is it like Disneyland? Is it like a theme highway? When you get on the highway, when you pull on the intersection, you see drones flying by and like dropping fake bombs or anything? Like you see like kids and baby parts like blowing up on the sides? Is it like a theme? Is it a theme highway or is it like a fake highway? They have like
No,
flowers
they don't show the
and
whole
green
bombing.
things planted.
No,
Like,
they don't show drones. That would just
they don't have. They have like a Monsanto crop dusters come down with Michael Taylor in the
they
top,
just do
like, spraying.
the Obama and Michelle Obama's smile, the classy smile.
Oh.
I mean, I remember when I was a delegate for Bernie Sanders and I came back and my friends were like, how was it? How was the convention? I'm like, you guys don't even know. Don't get me started. And they're like, they didn't even let me talk. They're like, no, but Trump. And I was like, you're not going to let me tell you what I experienced, what I saw? No, they didn't. And they're like, did you hear and watch Michelle Obama's speech? I was like, yeah.
Because they want to abuse you. They're not your friends.
And isn't it amazing? I was like, isn't it amazing? The part that she says something about like, this White House was built by slaves and we have a Black family now in the White House. And they're like, it's amazing. And I was like, and then I remember like one of their boyfriends was like, oh, you don't like Michelle Obama? I'm like, you don't like her, huh? Like,
so wait a minute. Now, was this before or after he and Hillary restarted slavery in Africa? Like
exactly.
Which one would they kill Gaddafi and restart slavery?
I can't even get that out of my mouth. Like they can't handle it.
Like, what's the point? Like to be honest with you, in my view, in fact, Lori actually had a good question. So before we even go there, Lori had to get, she said, how did we get here? Right? How did we get here? You have a nation full of idiots. That's how we got here. Number one, love them to death. You got to love them, but you have a nation full of polarized idiots, right? You have a corporatocracy that turned into an oligarchy, and that oligarchy makes money by getting stupid people, A, fighting with stupid people, B. They polarize so far that they hate each other. They don't have solutions for anything at all. They just don't want the other person to win. So the only thing that the politicians have to feed both sides is ego. They both get their ego hits where they can yell and scream and that's all they want out of an election. The politicians can take all the money they want, all the bribes from big corporations, and everything goes up to these profit centers, right? Like they get great retirements. The people get absolutely damn nothing because we got two hate groups pretending to be political parties yelling and screaming at each other. That's how we got here. But on top of that, so I want to make sure people do understand. That's why they put a Black man in the office. People don't understand it. They don't process it. Because how to say only Nixon could go to China? Only a Black man could restart slavery. Why? Because most of the Black people wouldn't give a damn about it. They'll be clapping so loud they couldn't give two damns about the people coming out of the Congo.
Yeah, exactly.
Up into northern Africa and being sold for slaves. They don't give two damns. But see, it's a good thing that it happened, though. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate that Obama was president. I'm glad he was president. I appreciate that Trump is president, and I'm glad he's president. And the reason why is because we are finally getting under the skirt. We are finally getting under the tape on the nipples. We can see what's really happening with the ugliness of America.
Yes,
now
exactly.
We can make decisions.
A lot of these people that Barack Obama fans, because they're fans.
They're fans. Michael Jackson! Adults like 60 years old.
That. Now I lost what I was going to say.
I'm sorry. That's hilarious.
They point out racism now in the White House, but I was like, we had a Black president and he bombed a lot of Black and brown kids all over the world and he deported a lot. So it's more about classism than racism, really.
It is. It always has been.
Classism, it's racism. God damn it. I was like,
listen, all right. I love it when people talk about racism. I love it because then I ask people, how many racist guns have you how many barrels of racist guns have you stared down? I'll be clear. To be totally clear, I've stared down a couple of those barrels. I grew up in Maryland. I done faced off with some crazy stuff. I know and I smell a racist and I feel it. America has exactly how many people in America? 325 million. How many? America has exactly 325 million races because they're all raised to be that way. But it's not true racism. It's just perceptionism. So I don't really care about like the whole topic on we need to fight racism. We are literally under rule of a cabal that's looting our country through a Federal Reserve system that is about to collapse our currency, raise the price of bread to $12 a loaf, and bring on a depression like nobody's ever seen. We don't have time for silly games. We don't have time for fighting racism. We need to fight bankism. I don't really care. So people are silly and they're stupid, and you gotta love them. But the reality is, they're hateful. Americans are a little hateful bunch. They got a lot of hate in them.
They're coming from fear, and that's how they control everyone. They're coming from fear, and that's how they control them. You know, I don't have that fear. I don't have that fear, and that's why I can think critically, and I'm way more advanced than a lot of these LA people. I see the big picture. I actually don't do politics. Politics is matrix talk. It's like, who are you voting for?
I got to turn my air.
That's not what I do. I mean, like, where are you going? I talk about the big picture. I talk about
hot here. It's getting hot in here.
Elite and who's behind the banking system and the wars and the secret societies and all that, which you recently did a Facebook status saying tag somebody that you met on Facebook, and what did they teach you?
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And I tagged 2 people. I tagged Sonia. I love Sonia. I met her on Facebook. I read one of her comments and I said, I have to friend her. She's intelligent. And she sounds crazy to stupid people, of course. But she was one of, last year, I had a party and she was talking about secret societies. And everyone thought she was nuts. She was crazy. And I couldn't register what she was saying. But unlike my friends there, I'm a seeker. And when I looked into it, I couldn't sleep for 3 months. And once you go there, you don't go back to politics. Once you see that big picture. And then Will Markham, which is someone I met on Facebook too.
Will is awesome, yep.
And he introduced me to you. Well, he shared your video and I'm like, I gotta friend this guy. But he taught me about CIA mind control programs, which I didn't know about. So that just opens up a whole different, you know.
Well, that's kind of the start, I think. I think people, when they really start to understand what their government's been up to, once you go down that rabbit hole, you can't come back out. And that rabbit hole, it used to be a crazy rabbit hole back in the day before the Freedom of Information Act, right? Before you had whistleblowers from every single federal cabinet or department coming out, you know, it was crazy. But now you got the Freedom of Information Act that's going back and confirming, you know, things that like John Perkins said and Brigadier Smedley Butler about how wars are racket, how the CIA has always been destroying Latin American countries, that the reason people are walking towards the border has nothing to do with they want to get in the country and nothing to do with gangs and drugs and all that nonsense, but because the Democrats and Republicans keep blowing their countries up. They keep toppling their governments. They put kids in helicopters and throw them out to scare activists into not toppling these fantasy fake sellout governments that the Pentagon puts in there. But so times have changed. And I think when you start going down that hole and you start looking at things, the MK Ultra and Operation Gladio, and you start to look and you start to realize, you know, the USS Liberty and how the federal government, Washington, consistently and constantly turns on its people. It offers them up. It's behind false flags. It had I forgot what is somebody. I was at Operation Northwood, where they were going to sacrifice. They were planning on sacrificing American citizens, you know, to get into war efforts. Every war's been a lie. No wars were about freedom, democracy, liberty, or freeing anybody. They're always about
like it's 2020 and people still think we bomb countries for our freedom. Like we're saving kids by bombing them. Like,
but they don't know, and that's the problem. Like, because people believe the television. They believe the television, and like you said earlier, the politicians are now Michael Jackson. They've become rock stars. We are the first generation, probably in the history of the human race, where people are actually cheering for the kings and lords, and they actually mean it. They actually trust their oppressor. Like, we have totally become the Stockholm syndrome, the slave mentality, the slave mind. We are those people right now. We are the Nazis.
I have a lot of friends that I was doing entertainment reporting at a time, and I have a lot of friends that went into, you know, the news media or whatnot. They just read teleprompters, and then they have like everybody in the office doing the same and talking the same. So like someone like me is gonna like offend them when I come with truth. But even I met someone at a bar the other day, and he was so fascinated with me because he used to work for the CIA and NSA, and he didn't know any of this stuff until it was like, he used to be like, he's a veteran. And so it didn't hit him until like recently.
Well, it's decompartmentalized.
You know?
Yeah, it's all decompartmentalized. I mean, I've gotten in so many conversations with people in the military who did things that I couldn't fathom. There are things I've heard things from my friends in the military I'll never repeat on the air. I'll never repeat out. I'll never put out in public. We are hardcore, cold-hearted evil. The things we do to women, children, and people in other nations are completely unacceptable to every faith, atheism, natural law, and everything. We need to do some sort of a constitutional convention. We need to suspend the federal government. I don't know if the devil exists, but if he does, our Pentagon in Washington sits at his table, and they are homie lover friends. We are involved in the most evil things ever. And this is why I'm not a voter. Somebody said down below, they were asking about, do I trust any president? I don't know about you, Mariette. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust it. The problem isn't the president, right? The problem isn't the congressmen and the senators. The problem is we don't actually have a country. We don't actually have a federal government. They were in 1913. They were bought out by billionaires. They suspended the Constitution. We've been under fractional reserve banking ever since. And those bankers are looting our country. The federal government goes up to them on their knees and begs for quantitative easing. And if America's being a good boy, like, why does a bank give you a loan? A bank gives you a loan if you can pay back the debt. And so the only reason they loan to the American government, both Democrats and Republicans, is if they bow to the massive corporations that will help them pay the debt back. That's big war, big pharmaceutical, big chemical, big 5G, all the things that are killing people in this country.
And so someone was asking, do I trust the president, like presidents or anyone to be president? I was like, in 2016, I was totally, I was inspired by Bernie Sanders. I thought he was very different and unique, and I was motivated. And I got, because for so long we've been told to shut up about politics, shut up about religion. Yep. And I used to be vocal in college, but I just gave up because everyone was believing the weapons of mass destruction. I said, forget about it. I went to sleep when Obama was president. I did vote for Obama, and I did cry when he won.
Shame.
I cried. I was like, oh my God, the first African-American family. It was so beautiful. But then, I went back to sleep, and I was like, oh, like something's going wrong. Like what he did in Syria. I was like, oh no. And a lot of people, don't know these things about Hillary and Obama and the game regarding Syria. I mean, that was the one thing, like, the Hillary people couldn't understand. Like, I couldn't vote for Hillary because of that. And they're like, name me one thing Trump will do better than Hillary. And I was like, well, he doesn't want to do a regime change in Syria. And they didn't get that. They're like, huh? Like, why would that be bad? Like, they don't get it. But, I was really naive too. And I was like, oh, I'm feeling the burn. Like, he did bring up important issues about healthcare and, student debt, because I know people who actually wanted to commit suicide because of their student debt. I know people that have lost family members and are in so much debt because, they can't afford the insurance or whatever. But so I get that about Bernie, but I got turned off as soon as he started parroting that Assad is a dictator that needs to be taken out. I was not feeling that. I was in Armenia at the time, and I was talking to Syrian refugees, and they all said that they actually like Assad. And, I wasn't surprised. Like, I know Americans are lying, and Bernie's lying there. And then when I actually went to DTLA, like in downtown, to court when the whole election rigging or whatever you call it happened here in California. And I spent so much time. I exhausted myself. I saw things at the convention that I hated. And on top of that, Bernie went and blamed Russians. So I was like, really,
damn Russians.
Narrative. And it was a war propaganda, because it was kind of related to the regime change they wanted in Syria. And a lot of people don't understand how that works, you know, like how Russia's an ally or whatnot, and how we're funding the rebels or whatnot in Syria. So it was hard. And then the whole Venezuela coup thing that they're all supporting now, these progressives, you know, it's a weird world because propaganda is, people are so drenched in propaganda. I have Ukrainian American friends that love John McCain. Ukrainians that love John McCain because their TV is not telling them that he's with the neo-Nazis there. Or I have Venezuelan American friends who are yelling at me on Facebook who don't like Trump, but they're so down with his coup in Venezuela because Telemundo and Univision told them that they should, you know, there's fake news in Spanish and they're called Telemundo and Univision. So, you know, it's a problem.
Well, war criminals are the new
speak out. That's why I speak out, because people are drenched in propaganda and I'm trying to bring awareness. And people can say that I'm just bitching on social media, but I'm doing a good thing. And in fact, that's how you meet your soulmates around the world, is when you speak out. You meet people who are on your frequency.
Yep.
You trigger those on low vibrations. So it's a good thing. That's how I met you. And that's, you know, that's how you're meeting all these beautiful people too. It's because you're speaking out. You're making these videos.
I was out of the game. I gave up when I started reading the laws. When I started reading the laws and I saw what was in the crime bill, when I started looking at, you know, why prisons are full of black people, and it came down to the Black Caucus. I mean, it came down to Bill Clinton, the Black Caucus, and the crime bill. And it still boggles my mind that people, they don't read. They don't really like. I left it all alone because when I saw all of those young minority kids being shoveled into prisons, I knew it was the Black Caucus. It was the Black Caucus the whole time. All of them, but what was like 3, all voted for the crime bill. That's why Black lives don't matter. So that's why I don't care anything about racist comments about Trump. You got a problem in Washington, which is everybody who's supposed to be standing up for a community, they get elected on that platform. They don't do it. They don't do it because we blindly trust them and we never make them pay the price. So I walked away from the whole system. And the only reason I even came back is because it seemed to become popular on the internet to have these alt communities, right? Alternative, you know, other opinions are allowed. You know, that was the other thing that Clinton destroyed, was that whole Telecommunication Act, where it completely destroyed all independent voices in America and gave 80% of the media to 6 corporations. And so these people, you know, these people, they're not stupid people. And sometimes I get excited and I say the wrong word. They're not stupid people. They're just highly indoctrinated and they're uneducated on the topics, right? And so this is why it's important to speak up. The only reason, what's that?
They're stupid people.
Well, no, because the thing is, you know, I mean, anybody can speak in anything they want. I try to talk to people in a way where they'll listen, right? And I know when I get excited, I'll say certain words, stupid, that or the other, but they're not stupid people. I used to be them, right? Like I used to go out and want to change my world and cast a ballot to drop bombs. But you mentioned a good point, which is when you look at what they agree on, the hardcore left and right, they don't disagree on any women. They don't disagree.
Even independence. Independence.
If it's bombing children, they're okie dokie. If it's invading nations, it's okie dokie. If it's colonizing, they're good with that. If it's military and industrial comp, they're good. If it's mass incarceration, they're good. They're good on all these topics. If it's poisoning the water, they're good with that. If it's pipelines, they're good with that. All the important topics, everything that involves sentience, they're all good in handing all that to corporations. They have no conflict whatsoever. They conflict over the little tinker toys. They conflict over the little insignificant things. And I was watching.
Social grace, like who's acting. It's all about social grace. Like people who love the Obamas, let's say, it's because they act classy. They have this social grace. It's not about records or anything. But I feel like no matter what, who's running, they're gonna be imperialists. You know, my friend Sam Tripoli, who has the tinfoil hat podcast, which is great. He tells me, like, you have Santa Claus as the president and he will be a war criminal as well, you know?
Exactly.
People don't know, like, I do believe in the shadow government. It's very powerful. Obama didn't want to go to war apparently, but you know, he's president, and then he's taken over these wars. And like a lot of people think, oh well, Obama cleaned up Bush's mess. I don't really know what they mean by that, but
well, it's all BS. The bottom line is this, and I agree with what your friend said. The problem isn't the butt in the chair. The problem is the chair, right? You have the people are elected for their charisma and their identity, but the offices are already done. It's the job description that people are not looking at. The job description in an oligarchy is whatever makes money for the party is exactly what's going to happen. At the top of all parties, the money comes from big pharmaceutical, big chemical, big war, big prison industrial complex. So you're going to get more of that no matter what you do, because the job is for the party. It's not for the people. And the top of all the parties are bought by the same exact corporations. So you can put Deputy Dog, you can put Snoopy, you can put Christmas, you can put Bernie Sanders, you can put any of them in office, Trump, Obama, and it doesn't matter. They're all going to do precisely what pays to keep the party at the top, because this is a fight over ego. It's not a fight over anything important. They're not fighting about principalities. They're not fighting about principles. They all agree with bombing children and taking big checks to get retirement the same way we do. But let me say this too. It's not the politicians in terms of the blame. I don't even blame them. It's the job. We have let the job of running America become a corporation's responsibility. Who's that? Jasmine said, right, we are owned. We don't have a government. People keep voting like they have a democracy, and that's the wrong tool. We don't have a democracy. We have an oligarchy. When you have an oligarchy, there are only two ways to take it down, according to Plato. One is a flat out revolution. And unless you want to like end up shooting children in the street and people dying, then you don't want that. It's to walk away from the system. That's the only way. It is a fantasy construct that's based on our consent. And the more we vote for it, the worse it's going to get. You can put all the loving politicians in there you want. In every election, they're going to write more laws. There's going to be more destruction around the world. There's going to be more bombs dropping until the American people get a clue, stand the hell up and say, we're not going to have an oligarchy. We're going to have a government, or we're going to have not have anything.
But how are they going to get a clue when they're censoring us, people like us, you know, like.
Well, I didn't say we were going to win. Did I say we were going to win? I didn't say we were going to win. We might all die. I didn't say we were going to win. We've been working real hard in making monsters out of this government. It's like the people blame Bill Cosby and they blame Michael Jackson. And I don't blame any of them, because I've watched Bill Cosby movies. I have Michael Jackson records. I took these child stars and made them into psychopathic monsters. And so I'm accountable as everybody else. We took a government and we couldn't keep it a government. We let it become a corporatocracy, and it's all based in emotion. So I think we can get out of it. I don't think we're all going to die. I say it all the time. We all going to die, but we can get out of it. But it involves people rediscovering their humanity. It involves people actually doing research and looking at factual information and making decisions with their heart, not their emotions.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the problem. They're all coming from emotion, not logic. And, you know, I try to keep my statuses, like I don't use bad words. I don't use emotions, and I still trigger people because it's contradicting what their TVs are telling them. Mm-hmm. And, but I feel like now I forgot again. What I was going to say. Go on, continue.
Oh, don't tell me to continue. I can continue. But the thing is that I like direct democracy. There are a lot of great solutions out there. How do we move forward? Well, we have a representative government. Why do we still have that? We don't ride horses. The only reason we have a representative form of government and all these sellouts always turn on you over and over and over again is because we rode horses, right? People didn't want to get on horses. They had to take care of their farm. So they elected representatives to go to Washington to vote for them. Ever since the teletype and the telephone, and now we had computers and dial-up internet. Now we have internet. We do our banking online. We have secure transactions. Everyone can vote for themselves. I think one of the ways out of this is, I think the French are onto it. RIC, or direct democracy, wherein you vote what you want. The war in Syria, are we going to go? Yes or no? Very simple. You don't need an adult to pull your diaper up for you and fasten the diaper tape. You can do that your damn self.
So yeah, about Syria is just like an example. I was always posting about children getting bombed in Syria Syria, and I wouldn't get any responses on Facebook or whatnot. One day I woke up and everyone is posting that picture of the kid who got bombed. You know what I'm talking about? It was
the white helmet
picture of the kid that got bombed. He's just sitting there. And I was like, why is everyone posting this? What? Just to be clear, the functional definition is freedom.
It's freedom. Oh, I was at Beaufont.
You told me 1 minute you were reading a comment.
No. I was reading, but Beaufont, he's too smart. I don't like reading his comments. I don't even know why he come around here. Yeah, he shouldn't be out here with us dummies. He always come around here with smart stuff. What'd he say? Hold on, let's go back to Beaufont. I scanned it. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to like put as many comments up on the screen as I can. So what is he saying? Just to be clear, the functional definition of fascism is the freedom. This it's already hurt my head. It's too late to read a Beaufont comment. The man is too smart. Fascism is the freedom for a privileged class at the expense of the very sovereignty of the rest of the populace who are not members of that.
But we have these entitled people that are gatekeepers, and they're like for the privileged class, and they don't know it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I mean. Like by censoring me, they're supporting the privileged class. They're supporting that, but that's what I mean. But I feel like there's a shift of awareness, though. There is something positive. We are talking about it.
Yes.
Some call it the information age. Some
call it ready for the internet.
Spiritual people call it the age of Aquarius. I don't know what that is, but yeah, it's supposed to be about this. But there is a shift, and the time to talk is now, because even we see the big tech companies censoring us, and there's always people who are telling me they're private companies, they could censor us.
I love it.
They're allowed to censor. Yeah. Because they're private companies. I'm like, yeah, that's why you're so misinformed about everything that's going on, is because they're controlling information. There's a war on information, and we have to, this is why I was walking down the street and wore a WikiLeaks shirt, and I got people screaming at me left and right.
Is that in LA?
Stop it! Putin, you support Putin! And I was like, oh man, I can't walk in LA and support Julian Assange.
See, I would have fun in LA. I had so much fun in there. I did a video where I was singing the Russian national anthem after they called me a Russian troll. Like I said, I don't care about adult outrage. These people are so sad. I love them to death. I do. But their panties are too tight and their drawers must be scrunching up their nuts or something. Because there's something wrong with these people. They're not adults. They're big children walking around, and they're just hiding the no,
they're not big children are smarter. Children are smarter.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right.
Children, they ask questions. Adults don't really ask questions. They get mad at you for asking questions,
But it's good though, too. It's good. I mean, the pendulum has to do what it has to do, right? It's always darkest before the dawn. And the good thing is, all the kids are watching their parents act like raving lunatics, right? They're watching their parents act like their friends in grade school. And that's important for the kids to see. That's why most of the kids, they don't want to have anything to do with any of this, because they see that their parents have become just psychological, I don't know, retarded babies of something. But it's a good thing. The darker it gets, the more it hurts, the more we'll wake up. That's why I'm fine with everything. I'm fine. And I don't tell people not to vote. I don't tell people not to do anything.
Yeah, people have the choice. I don't dictate to people. I don't like that when people do that to me. But I was planning on voting for Tulsi Gabbard, even though I knew this voting thing. I just don't, I don't know. But then she's saying that Israel is like the only democracy in the Middle East, and they all
Tulsi said that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they all do that. Like Ilhan Omar, I loved it when she called out AIPAC, right?
Yeah,
but then she goes and she does the whole Assad is a dictator that needs to be taken out, and I'm like, that's exactly what AIPAC would love. So I don't know who to trust. I can't trust
nobody, because it's not them. Like, we keep getting lost in idea. It's not them. It's the office, the job description. People have to focus. The job description is working with AIPAC. The job description is working with Big Pharma. Their job description has absolutely nothing to do with the American people. They are actors. Their job is to get up there and say very important things. And I will go this far. I will go far as to say they aren't all actors going in. I think going in, and this is why I'm actually proud of America. I'm proud. Good. I can't believe I said that. Dang it. I said that. Jesus, I'm sorry. I'm proud of America because they voted for Barack Obama. I am proud of him. I'm proud of him because he was the anti-war candidate at the time. I didn't vote for him because I saw that light-skinned Negro coming a long time ago. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, and I saw the line in his face after he met with Bush and decided to bail out the bankers. But that's my story. And I'm proud of America. They voted for Trump. That's right. I said it. I'm proud of it because I'm sick of seeing the same damn thing. With Obama, we saw something different. He was anti-war, and he didn't look like the people in office. So it's like, let's see what happens. I didn't believe it, and that panned out. Same thing with Trump. Well, he's different. Billionaire. It's something different. Twitter thug, whatever. I don't know. Let's see what. And I'm proud of Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle said, he said, you get a guy a chance, see what happens. Let him in there. And but after you put him in, everybody has to be honest. That's when you got to be the adult. Sit back and say, am I really seeing anything different? And if you weren't lost in Fox News and MSNBC and C-SPAN and these little lying mass media, pro-war, complex, divide and conquer media, if you weren't watching that crap, you've seen the same damn thing because it doesn't matter one bit who's in office. I don't care if Trump wins. I don't care if Trump loses. I don't care if Tulsi. I don't care nothing about none of it. Tulsi almost got me today, though. She almost got me.
Oh, what happened? Tell me.
Well, I was clicking on YouTube. That damn AI, it good. It knows you good. It knows what you want to hear. It's reading my posts and watching my videos, all that learning software. And Tulsi says she's going to end the war on drugs. And I'm like, it kind of gets to me because I see all these little kids in prison. That really pisses me off. But then something catches me and pulls me back. And just ask the question, did Tulsi get the approval of the massive corporations that are making all this money from the prison industrial complex? No. She said, we're going to have peace. We're going to end the world wars. Did Tulsi get the approval of Congress and Senate and the top Democrats and Republicans who all play golf together? They all play footsie under the table for these massive big corporations. She didn't get approved for any of it. That's what none of these people can do any of the things that they're talking about because America literally does not print its currency, and all the corporations that provide the credit for America to have the Federal Reserve print the money, they all need the politicians to sell the people out. So they're all going to sell everybody out. This is a problem only citizens can solve. Politicians can't do it. It's not their fault. They told you not to vote for them. Barack Obama said, Washington's corrupt and I'm going in and I'll see if I can clean it up. Obviously, he couldn't clean it up because Citigroup picked all of his cabinet except for two people. Trump went in, I'm going to go in to drain the swamp, and it's dirty and corrupt and the deep state is running everything. He was right about that. Bernie Sanders said, if I ever sell out, did he say something about if I ever sell out and tell y'all to vote for Hillary, don't ever trust me again?
If I tell you who to vote for, don't listen to me. That's
exactly, because they got his dog and his cat and they got it over a fire and then they're threatening him. Powers that don't give two damns about America at all run Washington, period. Somebody best said it. They said, I don't know who said it. It was a quote. I'm going to mess the quote up, but he basically said, is you take a president and you send him into office and you surround them by 100 of the most powerful people in the world who work for the most wealthy people in the world that don't take no for an answer. And you send these little bunny politicians in there around wolves that blow up entire nations. They don't stand a chance. None of them stand a chance. Americans have to walk away from the kill machine that's called America. It is a literal murder, sex trafficking, blowing up nation, denying women the right to life, to anything, and got to put tape on your damn nipples when you come outside. Who wants to vote for that? Why would you vote for that? The system is the problem. I don't know.
There was this meme that I really loved. It was basically people who are asleep talk about the puppets, and you have all of them. People who are awake know the puppeteers, and so you have the Rothschilds and the British monarchy and Mossad and all of that. Like, who's running the show? It's bigger than Washington. Who's running Washington? It's like once you learn that there's this political agenda, and I just learned about it's tied into a religion as well, apparently. I don't know. I don't want to get into that today, but yeah.
A satanic one.
There you go. I know it triggers atheists because
I'm fine. I like to trigger people. Let's trigger some people. I like angry faces. People need to. If you're not getting upset in one of my videos, you're not actually paying damn attention. Get upset. I need you to get upset.
So I guess I am doing the right thing by triggering people.
Yes, you got to trigger. Until adults stop getting triggered, you need to trigger them. Until they stop acting like little children, somebody took their Lego set, until they grow the hell up, you need to trigger them. The more you trigger them, the less triggerable they'll be.
What do you say to people who, because I got a lot of friends that say, don't waste your time with this. There's nothing you can do. You can't change this. This is the way the world is. Like, don't speak out about it.
I don't know. I kind of like Earth. I'm kind of attached to it. Mariette. I decided I like
what?
Food.
Who asked you what?
I like food. I like water. I like oxygen. I don't like whatever the hell's coming out the back of them airplanes. I don't like geoengineering, 5G. I'm kind of attached to life on this planet. I kind of like the human species. So I can either go in a hole and wait for these morons to blow everything up. And they're not morons. They're just very nice people who just don't seem to understand things, have trouble reading and doing research. I'm either going to go hide and wait for the world to end, or we're actually going to, for the first time in the human race, do something that actually means something, right? We live in a time where we have robots and automation where we could literally feed the world. We have people living under freaking caves in 1920 subway systems under New York City, San Francisco, Seattle, all over this country and all over the world. They live like Morlocks in the damn Time Machine movie. We can feed everybody. We have 12 companies who are 3D printing houses for $500 that takes 24 hours. There's no excuse for homelessness. There's no excuse for hungriness. There's no excuse at all for half of the things that happen in this nation. 60% of the women in our country are on antidepressants, right? If that's not a sign of failure in your government, if that's not a sign of you don't actually have a government, that 60% of women have to take a drug to get out and deal with your patriarchal kill machine of a society,
I mean, almost everyone I know in this town has an alcohol problem, a drug problem, mental illness. The system is designed to weaken you in every way, whether it's financially, spiritually, intellectually, emotionally. So you have to fight that,
Yeah.
You have to fight that.
You have to fight it by walking away. That's how you fight it, right? This is a fantasy construct. Government literally does not exist if you stop cheering and voting for it. And outside, do I think people in mass will stop voting? I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Why? Because we are approaching a collapse. No one argues that anymore. 10 years ago, financial analysts used to argue about if the American currency is going to collapse, and it was a conspiracy theory. Guess what? They now all agree. The dollar is done. Russia's moving away from it. China's moving away from it. Who knows how many years or months we are from prices of bread going up to $12 a loaf. And you think your city is bad now? You think crime is bad now? Do gun crimes scare you? Do mass shootings scare you? You wait till bread hits $12 a loaf. You wait till those countries who we get all of our food from, because we don't grow any damn food, because our farmers are all growing GMO corn and soy, because Obama and the rest of those idiots subsidize the growing of chemical products instead of food for these people.
I've been sick for years because of GMOs, and I didn't even know what GMOs were, so I was so sick. My gut always hurt me, and I'm now finally healing, but
right. And that's treason. That's treason. Your government literally turned against you and is slowly poisoning you. That's called treason. We don't have any doctors that disagree. They all say autism is environmental. So we know it's environmental. It's coming through the water, the air, the food. It's coming through a system that's supposed to be monitored by government. Treason. All of it is treason. You don't vote for an oligarchy. They will poison you, murder you, and shove you in a hole before the planet blows up, because neither of them give a damn, because the job actually is doing whatever corporations tell them to do. Okay.
Yeah. And back to this whole discussion about entitled people who don't allow you to speak up on social media. I posted a meme about it today where I was like, I do this weird trick where I post whatever I want because this is my account and not yours. And so many people were writing in it, and they were just like, you don't believe how many times people have told me to take down my post. And I had a friend who was, regarding the mass shootings, all he did was say, there are witnesses that are saying that there wasn't just one person there. We saw like 2 or 3 people. And he said 3 people already went in his inbox and like, take that post down now. So, I mean, they're dictating. They feel so entitled to dictate your free speech and your truth seeking, really.
Nobody says that to me. I don't know why people don't say that to me. Nobody says it to me. I wish people would tell me to take a post down. Nobody tells me. I don't take no damn post down. Are you an American? Yeah, I'm an American. Okay, you got American privilege? I damn sure. Okay. Your shirt, your shoes, your socks, your laptop is because we murder people every single day, all day long, and we steal their resources. So tell me about a damn mass shooting. Tell me that I need to be concerned when Americans get shot and we're dropping bombs on children every damn day all over the planet.
Exactly.
I don't give a
vote is off. Like, yeah,
it's American privilege. That's all it is.
American privilege. I made that meme. And I sent it to Caitlin Johnston, and she wrote an article about it. You should definitely read it. It says Democrats have a nasty case of American privilege. And what I was saying was, a lot of Democrats would be like, how dare you not vote for a Democrat? We have Trump and blah, blah, blah. And I would try to explain to them about wars. And I was really scared of Hillary. And, I pointed out what she did in Libya and Syria, etc. And they just didn't get it. And I was like, you know what? Like, they have a nasty case of American privilege. It's like, and I made that meme. It was something American privilege when something about drones landing on your, do you remember that?
No.
Drones landing on your, like, they don't understand it unless they have a drone landing on their doorstep.
Right. And that's why it doesn't matter. That's why it doesn't matter if you vote or don't vote, because, we're either going to change it peacefully or the default's going to happen.
And I tried to bring this up regarding the mass shootings. I was talking about how, aren't we like one of the greatest weapons dealers like around the world?
Isn't that fun?
And I'm talking about these, like, we bomb children all the time. And then I have people responding to me as a mother, the NRA, and the Republicans have blood on their hands, basically like proving my point, like they have American privilege. Like they didn't even, they dismissed what I was saying. Yeah. As a mother, you don't need to be a mother to care about children. People actually only care about their children and not other children. Like what you were saying. It's whatever they're familiar with.
I want those friends. I need those friends. Send me a friend invite for that woman. I need to be her friend. I need to know, where does her automobile come from? I need to know where she gets her gas and all the children that are in that gas tank. You know what? I'll calm down a little bit. The bottom line is this. The bottom line is that you have 2 murderous cabals that run the nation, period. They are the #1 weapons traffickers in the world. The only reason rape even exists in the world probably anymore is because you're 2 political parties. So please come to me with this mother woman stuff and any stuff you want to come with. The bottom line is you have American privilege and rights as a woman because they murder other women who don't have a right to life. That's the bottom line. And either you're supporting it or you're not. I don't pull the levers anymore because I think women should have rights. That's what I think. I think little girls in the Congo should have a right to walk to school and not be raped by 3 gangs of men before they get to school, right? And I don't think any American privilege is better than that. I don't think Americans being whiny about the things they want have anything insignificant over the fact that children can't even go to school because we're such apathetic bastards. So yeah, I don't play. Please send me for her friend. Send me her information. I need to know this woman. I don't like to play with people. You can go play with other people, but you're not going to play with me. You're not going to play with me. If you're murdering other kids to give your kids milk and toys, I'm going to be honest with you. You're satanic. You're a devil. Get over it. Grow the hell up. Find some love in your heart anywhere and walk away from this evil system so we can build something that's got some damn sentience in it anywhere. I'm done with the third parties too, man. Mariette, I ain't got nothing to do with the third party. It's all the green party. Stop.
Yeah, I was totally feeling the Green Party in 2000.
I love y'all. I do.
But let me tell you, it was they were having mechanical breakdowns when I said I voted for Jill Stein. Like,
they're blue.
It's having a mechanical breakdown. You gave us Trump. I mean, you have people like Deborah Messing and all these Hollywood people still yelling at Susan Sarandon for giving us Trump because she voted for Jill Stein.
Yeah, I voted for Jill Stein, but I ain't never voting again. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm done giving my consent to a kill machine called America. It needs to go away. We need a constitutional convention, suspend the federal government. Nobody you put in there is going to do any damn thing different. They're all going to murder children and eat them and put them in gas tanks so Americans can drive their damn cars. I don't have any interest in it. The states need, I think, what do they need? Like 5 more states to actually launch the constitutional convention where they can suspend the federal government, reinstill the Constitution, perhaps bring back the republic, any damn thing. Every damn thing, everything is better than keeping a system under Democrats and Republicans right now. Everything. I'll take a dictator. I'll take Mao. Damn it, give me Hitler. Give me Hitler. Because I dare anybody say one thing that we do that Hitler didn't do. Name one thing Hitler did we don't do. So, well, Hitler put people in ovens. Damn it, we fly the ovens over and drop them on people. All right, they're called eviscer. They're called napalm. We fly them over drones. We do, what is it, 100 drone strikes a day now? Come on. Everything. Hitler was a baby war criminal compared to what you got in Washington.
I mean, I've even spoken to people who are like, when I talk about these wars, they're like, yeah, but like, do you want China or Russia to be the superpowers? So like,
yeah, absolutely. Yes. Anything over the kill murder machine right now. I'm in solidarity with the kids in Yemen. I'm in solidarity with all the women in Honduras where femicide is now a word because America can't lead their government alone. Anything. It's time for somebody else to step up that has a damn heart. That's what I'm for. I'm for human life. Human life first, then you can play all this nation BS later. The bottom line is if you're killing people, you're a killer, you're a murderer, you're consenting, and it's a place in hell. I don't know where hell is, Mariette, but I know it's big enough to fit all America in it. I know that. I know we're going to burn, and we deserve to burn because we're apathetic bastards. We don't give two damn about any child on this planet unless it's our child.
Yes, and apathy is an illness, like you were saying.
Absolutely. It's a mental illness. We are surrounded by mentally ill people who don't care, right? Yes. They just want the ego hit. They just want their person to win, and they're willing to murder another 100,000 children in Yemen over the next 4 years to get the ego hit so they can go to the Vindictary and brag to their friends that they got their political moron war criminal in office.
Yeah.
The system is the problem. The system needs a total reboot and revamp. We need to make sure that human life is valued over everything. We got a priority problem. They had the nerve to offer me reparations. Would you believe this? Would you believe that a colonizer, a killer, a mass criminal government that still supports slavery is going to offer me reparations so I can be okay with all the people they raped and murdered and enslaved all back going 300 years and the people they still do today? You can take your reparations, you can shove it up your anus. I don't care nothing about that. They offer me health care, man. We're going to get you health care. You can take your evil health care that you murder people to give to me and go to hell with it. They offered, we're going to pay your student loans. You know what? I'll keep my student loan debt because I don't want blood dripping out my bank account when you send me checks to pay it off. I don't need children to be murdered around the planet to pay my damn student loans. I'll pay them. Go to hell from whence you came. It's time for Americans to grow the hell up. Our government's not broken. It was designed this way. It is a kill machine, and all you're seeing now is it's highly efficient. It's cranking. One of the reasons I'm glad Trump opened his mouth the other day and said that thing about Yemen, we're not going to end the genocide in Yemen. We're not going to stop sending weapons and support systems for them because we need jobs. Finally, American president stood up, pulled his big drawers up and said the truth. We are a murder machine. It doesn't matter who's in office as long as Americans have their jobs so they can drive their big ignorant cars and destroy the climate. All right, I'm done. I get upset. I'm yelling.
Yeah, I like the
They
passion.
need to grow up. No, they just need to grow up. I'm not here to play with people. They need to grow the hell up. I don't care what somebody's. Are you a monkey? They're offering you shiny things. Be like, oh, monkey treats, monkey treats. We're gonna get health care and walls and gun rights, and then like they're offering like shiny things like they're monkeys. And guess what? The funny thing is, they never come through on the monkey treats. So it's not even that their gifts are based in blood of children, but they never even give you the damn treat. That's how stupid, special, and loving, and very ignorantly special people are.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done yelling.
Well, thank you for bringing me on. I'm glad we finally did this. I was motivated by people triggering me recently about shut up about politics. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not. I'm gonna go on a live stream with Gerard. I'm not gonna shut up.
And you come back anytime. And anytime somebody has an issue we need to talk about. We need to talk about this because this is a mental illness issue. This is definitely this. That's Lori, right? Lori's a nurse. This is I got psychologists, I got neuroscientists, I got all these people on my page, and we need to deal with these people in that capacity. When they tell you, oh, I don't want to talk about the flying monkeys, that's what we need to talk about because you're seeing flying monkeys in your sleep. We need to talk about why you can't be an adult. We need to talk about why you can't turn on a system that will not refrain from murdering people, children. It's one thing if they gave Mariette, it's one thing if they gave these little 14-year-old guns to shoot back and like give them a chance to fight against a drone, like you got a chance to fight against a drone. They don't even do that. They murder unarmed people every single day so they can give these talking points to people. All right, I'm done. I said I was done.
I just want to say now I remembered what I wrote in that meme. I was having a conversation with some friends and the fake left, of course. And I was telling them about these regime changes, and I was saying, Hillary's an interventionist, and they're like,
yes.
They're like, interventionism. That's just the word. I mean, really, these LA people talk like this. It's just
not just a word. It's called.
And so that's where I was like, yeah, American privilege is interventionism is just a word because it's not your front door. Those drone strikes come knocking on, you know, for these people. That's what it is.
And it's debt colonization. I mean, they destroyed nations to bring about fear. They arm the warlords so they can go rape towns of children. And they use children to actually they can rape towns of women and children. They use children to do it. And the little 14-year-old kids with American guns don't want to rape anybody. And so they get them high on drugs. So they go in there and rape them women as a scare tactic. Why? Because it keeps mineral prices cheap. All right. So we don't have a problem with politicians. This is not a politician problem. You don't fix a system problem with a politician. It can only be fixed from the outside. You know, we have to really dig deep. People just really have to dig deep and find their hearts. And come Columbus Day, I don't even know when the hell Columbus Day is, but nobody better post no damn Columbus memes that go vote for colonizing this election. Because all these don't say dead. If you're voting for Hillary, you're voting for Democrats and Republican colonized. Don't say two damns about Native American things anywhere around me. Don't put it on my page. Don't tag me in it, and don't let me see it because you are the colonizer. It is you. You're supporting it. That's what interventionism is. It's colonization, and our GDP requires it, which means your politician can't stop it if they want to. It is a requirement while the government is in this form, period. And the politicians don't lie about it. They don't lie about it. They tell you the truth. But
you wanted me to come back and talk about Hollywood and how it's a wing of the propaganda machine, because a lot of my friends that work in showbiz don't even know that. You know, they don't know about all the CIA agents that work in there. They don't know about the agenda they have and all the symbolism that they do. That's in music videos, that's in movies, and how, like, you know, celebrities also push a lot of war propaganda, and they don't even know they're doing that too. So,
what is that called? Was that the WSO? What was it called when they had the entertainment for the war? It was at the WSO during World War II, World War I, where they got the entertainers out there, Sammy Davis singing on the stage. And, yeah, I mean, that's where we are. They basically turned Hollywood into the WSO. They turned it into a war criminal love fest where all your favorite adult heroes that you got underoos for, all of those people are all pro-war. I've got friends who worked in Hollywood. They explain the CIA has offices in Hollywood, and like you do, I have friends whose names I won't mention that told me stories that I won't even talk about. But Hollywood is definitely an extension of the Pentagon. There's no question about that. And the Pentagon is an extension, unfortunately, of parties that I really don't like to get into. You did it in one of your videos. That was hilarious, by the way. I try to tell people there's a difference between Jews and Zionists, and you need to read and do your research to understand. People, if you talk about Zionism, you're not being anti-Semitic. They're barely even Jews. They don't even read the Torah. All right.
Hollywood is all Zionism, yeah.
Yeah, Zionists are oppressing the Jews. They're oppressing the Jews in Israel right now. Every now and then you'll get a clip of it somewhere where you'll see them spraying them with hoses and run over with horses. And the only reason because Israel's the number one population of real Jews on the planet. The only other population of real Jews, the second largest population, is in Iran. And this is why we're going to war with Iran. This is why the Zionists are trying to attack Iran, because if you want to own a religion like the Westboro Baptist Church, you have to go and take over the religious people where they are who actually read the text, because the rabbis there are explaining to you that you can't have in Israel. God, you are in defiance to the God of the Torah. So you're not being anti-Semitic when you talk about Zionists, because Zionists.
I could get all into that. We're going to do that in the next episode.
Yeah.
We got to do it all about, no, really, because all my friends in Hollywood are Zionists, and they don't really, like, my Jewish friends in Hollywood are Zionists, and they don't get it. Like, they don't listen to what I have to say. But, and then, yeah, like war propaganda, CIA, mainstream news, they don't even know, like, who rules all the Hollywood studios and entertainment, networks. So we'll get into all that, because I want that there, and I want to share that video with all the friends that I have in showbiz.
Absolutely. I gotta address brother Jimmy. I love Jimmy. I love him to death. He's a burner. I love him. But he never gives up. He was been posting the whole time. With Jimmy, you post, like, you put paragraphs, brother. I can't put the whole paragraph. But I want to address him real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
He does have a point. He's saying if one is president, you have control over the Department of Justice, the CIA, the FBI, and the attorney generals. And I will answer that, Jimmy, and I will say that's what the Trump voters said, and we saw what happened. I know that's what the burner's saying, and we might see what's going to happen. And also, we have an example of that. It was called JFK. If anyone actually believes that a U.S. president has the ability to reroute trillions of dollars by stopping war, pharmaceutical industries, the prison industrial complex, and the 20,000 massive corporations that feeds, they're not paying attention. No one man will be allowed. They murdered JFK for a lot less than that. All right. So and Bernie's not stupid, right? Bernie is not going to get in there and do all of these things. Bernie is going to live. Why? Because he didn't turn on the DNC. He is not going to turn on the billionaires that bought America. OK, that's my stand. I appreciate brother Jimmy, and I love him. And if you feel you got to get out there and go do that, you get out there and go do that. But I can't get on that train, because unfortunately with Bernie, because we have to address the Bernie took the money to murder children, and he did not give it back. Bernie voted for all the conflict. When you look at that Bernie video I post all the time, somebody posted a video where it shows all the wars he voted for, then you know that he is not anti-war. He is telling people what they want to hear. And it's not that he's a bad guy. I'm not hitting Bernie. It's just politicians don't have control. I'm fine with all the Bernies. I'm fine with all the Trumps and the Obamas and all the people who, if they actually follow through on what they say, after we allow for America to actually change. Right now, it is not in a model that will allow the federal government to change. The people who own this are way too powerful. So unless Bernie got a military or Bernie has trillions of dollars, Bernie's not going to be able to do it. All right. So I want to make sure I address him. I don't like to blind anybody out, but either way, but people, you do what you want to do. I can't vote for murderers and killers in a system that requires death. I don't need death to pay for anything. If my gas comes with death, I don't want gas. If my cell phone comes with murdering children, I don't want a cell phone. You're going to do what you're going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, America is going to change. It's just either going to change the easy way, where people peacefully walk away and put sentience back in government as a requirement, where we have a red line where we say we're okay with all your solutions, federal government, but it's not murdering people to give us treats. Or you're going to push it far enough, and you're going to wait for the billionaires to bring about the next Great Depression, collapse the currency, and watch millions of people die, our family and friends, and then we're going to fix it then. It's going to get fixed either way. But the system is it's not sustainable for us. It's literally designed this way. And now we only get a chance to see it because we become so stupid between polarization that now you can see the fine-tuned engine that this crony capitalist nation has become. So we can actually see the matrix code now, Mariette. We can see that it actually was designed this way because it's making so much profit, but now they're about to tank it. So anyway. All right. Any last words so I can get out of here? I got to go home.
Oh, no. I do want to, you were talking about burners and I wanted to get in all that, and probably next discussion is pretty long.
Okay, good. There's
so much content. There's so much to talk about.
I am sick of seeing my damn face, and I'm sick of my mouth. I need somebody else on here to talk because not everybody is open to me. I need different people, and that's Ty. Damn it, Ty, get on my show. Ty hiding from people. I need to I want to have nightly discussions, but running up to the election, I'm not going to do this on my own. I need to bring y'all in there. Ty was saying everybody need to stream. Susan, you need to get on camera. And
everybody needs to scream.
Y'all need to start streaming and talking truthful things. Even if I disagree with you, it's not about agreement. This is about a public discussion. People need to voice more of their own independent opinions instead of what's being heard on television. So, all right. Well, sis, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thanks to all your viewers and your friends. I appreciate you guys being here and watching this.
Absolutely. Anytime. Mariette's friends, y'all need to grow up. We love y'all to death, but it's time.
And please, you can friend request me so that you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, friend request Mariette. Y'all should follow the Live Coach page, and rest of Mariette's friends that I was rough on. I love y'all to death. I do. But right now it's time for adults to take over and actually drive the world a little bit. We don't have time for TV, politician, porn star, polytypes. We need adults to actually drive. So send me a friend invite. If you don't believe anything that was said here, I got all the links for everything you need to read. We can get you started off on a conspiracy theory train.
Oh God, I get called a conspiracy masturbator all the time.
Well, conspiracy is a great thing. The way I address it is that the lords and kings have conspired against us since the very beginning. And we are the first dumb generation that actually think that they stop. They never stop, right? The whole point of government is power. How do you get power from the people? You wrap the truth in conspiracy and you make it crazy, and that's how you take power from people. And that's how you prevent discussion. It's another form of censorship. But now we have so many whistleblowers. We have so many whistleblowers. We have so many whistleblowers and Freedom of Information Act requests that came back that it's not conspiracy anymore. Now it's all just fact. We know how duplicitous and infamous this government is. We know Christopher Columbus was a beautiful, wonderful young man compared to the damn Pentagon. And Nazis, they had nothing. They had absolutely nothing on the deep state cabal that runs America. So anyway, Mariette, you have a great evening.
Bye, everyone.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. We're out of here. Y'all have a great night. Bye-bye.